and the state at which that bags were sealed, it will be difficult for one that even myself, I cannot say I smelled drugs. With my experience, with my knowledge, there is something that I did to some stage here to say this might be. The only thing to arrive at that point was to at least open one of the, acquaint yourself with what was in the bag. And still, with regard to issue of smell, you cannot. The bags are sealed with that black masking tape, wrapped. When you go inside the bag, you open those bricks have been wrapped with this plastic that normally used to wrap foods. In fact, there is a process because they wrap with something, another something. They put their emblem on top, which will be visible when you look at the brick, so that the intended recipient must know, identify it with the branding that this comes from this. I don't know whether should I use, this comes from this cartel, the drug cartel. There were some with Red Bulls signs, some with, there were different things, which means where they were packed and where they are coming, people should identify them with whoever is sent.
Maybe I might just, when you say you did that, you got to this bag, anyone?
They were still in their position from where they were, not original position in terms of in the container.
Is it you or is it some other officer that says the Pope one? And my sense was
there's something like a pin.
Yes.
There's a pin, you press it there. When it comes,
there was a powdery substance.
Yes, shiny.
And on that basis, you suspected.
Then
you don't say for a fact. You say you then suspected.
That is
not this.
Not this.
Colonel, then assume that the briefing ended and you were then assigned by Colonel Ludic as the investigator. Is that correct? Thereafter, you then say warrant officer Khotso pointed you to the BMW, that paragraph.
Warrant officer Khotso pointed to me the BMW. That he said, this BMW is together with this police. Then I requested police in unit together with Sergeant Nawaran to take care of and get the driver out of that.
When you say get the driver out of that vehicle, was that for purpose of interview or what was
his presence?
And then you also say that he pointed out a red Kia.
He also driven by Warrant.
And then you say Captain Optoff. Also then pointed a VW Golf.
Captain Optoff explained the driver of this BMW is the one who was chasing. Captain Optoff that time was dressed in full. Then I asked, who is that driver? Then he showed me the person that now is Mr. Mashaba. Who is it? That he is the one that is said they are not needed at the scene. It's not their scene.
So from his point of view, Officer Mashaba informed him that was his scene.
He was not. He was directing them not to go. He was directing them not to go. You are not needed at this scene. This is the version I got from Captain Opto.
All right. And so you say that in relation to the BMW warrant officer Pume to get the driver and take the same steps as it related to the red Kia.
I interviewed them one so that as to acquaint myself with their presence, the scene, their action.
And can you give us just a summary, a snapshot of the three?
I think it's in my A1 commissioner.
What did you say?
Commissioner Baloyi, when Colonel is in his A1, he's directed me to it. So it's page 254 of the bundle. We found it. You can, I think paragraph 8 is where you start to deal with the three.
Correct.
Can you just give us a summary of the...
After all the introduction, I started with Warren, who alleged that he got the information from his info. He followed up on the information together with Traffic Mashaba. And later on, he requested Warren Kula, who is based in Pretoria, to come assist. Asked him if he tried to get back from his own station, since he is stationed at Zongezi, his SAPS, and his answer, he did not think of contacting his own station. I asked him as to why he did not mention his own station to Sergeant Doe, than lying that he is from Hawks, and still he could not give reasons why. And on the question of why were they chasing uniformed police officers on the scene, and his answer was that he was thinking it was his scene. I asked him if he does know drugs, and his answer was no. And on why was he loading what he does not know, his answer was he suspected the consignment to be drugs.
Colonel, before you move to the interview, then you go to, given his answers, what was your sense of Mahane's role?
In my own view, when I was checking on what I could see, his intention was not to...
And what was his
intention? As those who request to remove those from wherever they were to wherever those two, Mashaba and Nku, wanted them.
Are you saying he told the people that? Why are you mentioning the Hawk?
And in relation to him calling Pakula and...
So he said crime intelligence. He said crime intelligence.
And in relation to, is it strange for an officer attending to a scene not to call their own station?
And operating a procedure. Wherever you go, the first thing, that if I'm leaving my office, one, I inform those I left behind. That two, identify yourself properly to the people that you are, because we are not working in units. Difficult for anyone to, even if I say I'm a police officer, there is a tool that one must confirm or substantiate me saying that. That is why we are being provided police.
Colonel, maybe just mine was related to whether perhaps maybe standard operating for him to have called his station for backup. This was in response to you asking him saying called Bakula, who's based of calling his own station.
Commission of the area, you check where is, then if he was following up on something that is in motion, then one can see that you will end up losing that which you are following because you are taking the long route. The first thing first, the approach is where is the nearest police station? Who are the nearest? If not, go to Tender. That is the procedure. I don't call my friends. I call those that will assist.
Thank you, Colonel. Chair, I want to move on to the next interview.
Perhaps as a judge.
What drugs? Look, have you undergone any drug course or anything that can suggest to say you can handle this scene? He said, that is why I'm calling these officers to come in. Then that also pushed me to say, then, okay, you are calling this one. To me, seated here, I'm seeing them as your friend. Then here, the marked police vehicle. They are coming here to assist upon getting that or complaint. Why can't you accept them to the scene? Acquaint them with the scene because that is their area of operation, not yours.
And what was his response?
He said he don't even think that way. As long as he got information, because he used to do the arrest, then he still have to.
And then we can move to your last.
Then the other interview, I interviewed the driver of the silver grey 7 Series BMW, to whom I identify myself as well. I identify himself as Tumelo Nku. His explanation about his involvement was that he was there on his private capacity, and further that he once worked for Transnet before he ventured into. And the person he knows on the scene was Chief Traffic Mashaba, since he used to give you information on illegal cigarette. Further indicated that the information they are working on was his.
And so what did you make of your interview with Mr.
I also, everybody after having the ISO, for you to be here, even if you are in, you just give information, then you get feedback from your handler to say, in fact, we have confiscated drugs, we have arrested, this is the case number. If it's a registered informer, he will be informed that claims will be done on your behalf. Then still, he maintained it's not a registered. Then there were a lot of questions that I highlighted to him to say, by placing yourself on this scene, you are endangering your own life. You are even not supposed. He said, no, I was just monitoring.
Is there ever a reason in your entire experience for having an informer present, even if they are just somewhere the scene corner?
Unless only if maybe he's an undercover agent, it's part of it. But you don't have to inform me and follow me. Then it's as good as saying, let's go and work. We are working together. We are no longer giving information. We are.
So the fact that all the witnesses confirmed that he never got out of his car until I think when a member of the flying, that doesn't.
He should never have been. Again, if you look at that car, also, to me it looked suspicious because I also investigated the issue of the permit.
Perhaps to give context to that, the car that Mr. Nku was driving, what was suspicious?
If you look at the permit, when I checked on that, could see that was the second permit because there's a time frame for the first to be placed on that. If it's not registered within that time frame, then they can reapply for that. Then I asked because when I was checking on that permit, there were a lot of some discrepancies that I found. They were investigated later, not on the scene.
Okay, we'll deal with those discrepancies later in your investigations there. One thing I wanted to ask in relation to Mr. Nku, so he's not supposed to be there. He's an informer, but he doesn't participate in a sense that he just sits a car. Is that then some offense that he could be arrested? I guess I'm trying to understand what.
He is part of them. He is part of them.
So
he is working with. He is admitting that he's their informer. He's with them. He's monitoring. Then there was no way for me to say, let me deal with this three and leave this one, because I wanted to see this police and misbehavior are defeating in the present, and to my belief, they wanted to accomplish what he wanted them to.
So your suspicion was that he's monitoring that is done.
That is correct. He was monitoring.
For you, in your interview with Mashaba, what was your understanding? Provided the information. It's my information, and indeed that's what Mashaba. Did your understanding that this is Mashaba's? How does it Mashaba, who is not SAPS, comes from a different age traffic routing and calls SAPS port assignment? In the way that things work between this operation then become a Mashaba operation with SAPS providing a cap, or operating information Mashaba becomes a SAPS operation between different agencies relationship?
Normally, commissioners, it comes from other state agency, it goes to the police. Then it becomes a police operation. It is as good as like you get it, anonymous callers and all those things. Then whoever, if the calls get to say it enters into this agency, like let's say it goes to my head office, my own head office. I'm based in Gauteng. Theirs is to say who is based on that. Then there is dispatch the information to whoever should be in that area. Then once I have done everything, I have to submit an information note to the people that gave me. If I open inquiry, I'll quickly open up inquiry, because every action must be based on documents to say I got this information from head office. They said they got it from so and so. Isn't it that they still need to respond? Then I write my own information note about the operation. This is what happened. This is what we found. This was the end product you are in, so that they can communicate with whoever submitted the information.
In this case, the information note have gone to Gauteng Traffic, the source of the issue.
That is the source of.
Colonel, can traffic enforcement can they investigate you based on
Big no.
big no?
Big.
Then we're going to go back to your main statement.
Criminal matters, sorry, Commissioner. Criminal matters are investigated by.
You spoke
and
at
then
the,
other.
sorry. You spoke at the same time. Please repeat that.
I was saying criminal matters are investigated by, unless, not the traffic, unless other investigative agencies have been mandated to do so, but not the traffic police. They've got their own responsibility. No case will ever be referred to them, a criminal for investigation. That's a big. Thank you, Commissioner.
But they cannot conduct under no security.
He cannot.
Colonel, we're going to go.
He remains the source of. Thank you,
Colonel,
Commissioner.
I struggle sometimes when you pause for effect.
Sorry.
But I'll take my cue when you say thank you. If we can then go back to your statement. We were at paragraph 14. So you then say that the scene wasn't cordoned off and you started the process. You take us.
Paragraph 14.
Yes.
I was also approached by Captain.
My apologies. Paragraph 14 of your main statement, the one before.
Okay.
Because you'll see in the one that you were reading, after you deal with
Okay.
the interviews, you then
Which
deal with
says-
processing. So we are.
All this time, the scene.
Yes.
All this time, the scene was not cordoned, and with the assistance of Warrant Officer Pume and Warrant Officer Machere, we cordoned the scene. And Colonel Stay arrived at about 12 o'clock. He asked if they'll check. That was supposed to be. If there will be any other assistance that I will be needing. And I said, local criminal record center will be needed together with officer who will be offloading the bags from the black Nissan bag so that the scene can be properly.
Colonel, when you say that the scene wasn't cordoned off and with the assistance of the two warrant officers, you cordoned off the scene, which cordoning off did you do? Maybe if we go to pictures again, maybe let's go to 103 of the sketch. Are you able to explain what cordoning off you did?
103.
Yes.
Page 103, that's where the sketch plan is.
Yes, I see.
Yes. And just before
But
you...
I can see she's not on the same page. We are not.
No, I am.
Yeah, but a difficulty I have is that I don't see what the black buggy and the poison's marked police vehicle
On the sketch
on the sketch plan. Can you show me those?
You are correct. I'm not. I did not draft commission.
I'm not suggesting that you did. I just wanted to know if you can, or rather you see the tip of those on there. You don't. You also don't.
I don't.
That was said by the stain file.
Is it in the same file?
My apologies. Thank you, Commissioner Kumalo. It's also in this file. It's just that because the pictures come before, there's an interruptions plan. It's on page 18, 18.
118.
No, 18.
You want to maybe pull out 180?
Yes, actually.
So when you look at page 103, can you help by just describing what was cordoned? You see from that page with the key, it will show you that point E was the red car, which was parked in front of a container. B was the black bakkie where the drugs were loaded, and A was the.
Yes, I can see.
Which means the poison's police vehicle is not where it should be. I don't know. Maybe when the sketch was drawn, because then it should be in front of B.
Should be in front of. I agree.
Yes. So my question is, you say that you, with the two warrant officers, you cordoned off. So I was just trying to understand what was cordoned.
In fact, here, Commissioner, even though I don't know where the didn't take this, but what I understand,
I did see a picture that has the yellow
I think it will be proper.
ribbon that you normally use. It appears clearly in front of the truck, but I don't know where
yes.
it starts and where
If
it's.
you look at page 37, the issue with the pictures is because they are close up, they don't quite entire that was cordoned. But page 37 in front of you goes to page 14.
The wider.
Yes. So yes, thank you. At page 19, it's a little faint. there's a tape that runs from the truck, the yellow truck. It seems to go over the van. It runs towards the container. Just not sure where it stops.
I believe, if you can see on page, it must be starting at the cap of the parked truck, go through the buggy, then up to this other container, this in front of the red, because between these two trucks, there is a black buggy in there.
Yes.
That is where the drugs, that is where we cordon for those drugs that are in between the truck and truck with container on.
And then again, if you look at page 40, it should show you the other side. Can you see at photo 38?
40 or 14?
40. Can you see there's a tape
Yes.
that also runs behind what looks like behind
black
the.
bag.
So is it fair to say that the truck and the container, and obviously the contents in were what was cordoned off? And we've learned from testimony that there's an inner and an outer cordoning off. Was this an inner?
This is
And did you then do the outer? Then you say Colonel Steyn arrived and he offered assistance. So when he arrived, was this now the first time you're calling on other services?
that is.
And he then indicated, maybe just for clarification, what did you ask him to do? To call LCRC and?
Colonel Steyn is coordinating members of drug section. So his presence at the scene was of assistance. Wherever I will overstep or do something, I will still go to request for it. Maybe there is something wrong that it, but because when I introduced him to the scene, he said, no, I think you are still on point. But I said, Colonel, can you, at least for now, assist in calling these relevant stakeholders? Because we started only with we have not yet done that. Because now I've got a clear picture of what is happening. Can we have this? LCRC should be the first to be, before we can then take back, but we can no longer take them back to not try to rectify what was missed. The only thing was to say, now these people that, according to me, are defeating, we are now going to show them. This is what we have killed. The possibility that we get the DNA from those that you left the scene in its. Now that everybody's involved, taken it, then the chances of us getting the DNA, the fingerprints are very slim, because we will find a lot of them. Then the direction to take, we have to do the elimination of. We have to. Have you touched this bag? You remember, nobody will ever say this is the one that was touched. Then we have to, when you do elimination, because if I touch, when they check the fingerprints, should they come across mine, they will know that this was the person who was at the scene. Then we do elimination. Who else touched this? But when everybody touched, now we make it difficult. The LCRC person to get, because we must remember, if I'm in charge of the scene, I give direction to the LCRC member. This is what I want. I want to extract or to check the existence of any DNA on the item. Fingerprints that can link to origin, to the origin, the person who packaged. Because Maruma and others never packaged. That is the discrepancies that I caused on. Then Colonel Steyn called LCRC, which is a standard, which is which is the first thing that one have to do this. Before, even because there was no commissioners, there was no agent, there was nothing that forced that thing to be speedily done. It is in a secure place. It arrived at its owner. You just tell the owner, let this container and this truck remain as is. There is something that I want to check. We have received this type of info. This is the introduction that you will never be suspicious when you call somebody. I'm at your place, I'm suspecting this. So can you, with your assistant, let this be as is until the people that will be requesting come and assist. That was supposed.
Colonel, before I go too far, just to put it to you, Pakula testified yesterday that he ordered the coordinate, just to confirm that you deny that. It's your team that
He would be lying. Sorry, Commissioner. Pakula is working for Nino. If I have to explain, like I explained about Mashaba, Pakula is working at Nino. Pakula is working at Nino because we engaged during the interview. He's working at Nino. And there was a point that I even showed to him that you only investigate cases that have been referred to your office. You don't initiate investigations. Certain cases that are referred to head office are investigated by them. Physical investigation, not to involve on the scene. That is his role and part of. I can even further to say he knows nothing about, unless it maybe he said he knows. They investigate complaints. Where if you have opened a case somewhere, then there is a feeling that the investigation is not properly done. When they are referring the cases to them, then that is there.
Formally, and that goes.
That is correct. I even informed his Colonel Sipungu. Told them both. I had an engagement with Sipungu, but that was a destructive engagement because he was trying to distract. Pointed to him those point that you must remember, Colonel. You are now interfering. Colonel.
And maybe what it is that, and then inquiry. But that's failed. First, you say he doesn't do only on.
Then, Colonel, you say that you indicate to Colonel Steyn that you also needed officers to offload. That would have been once LCRC.
Once else.
And then we can move to paragraph 15.
Colonel Stein then indicated that Captain Norkia and Warren in handling those bags loaded. And whilst we were waiting for LCRC to come, I continued interviewing four male persons that was pointed to Warren. That was pointed to Warren Samohana, Kula, Mashaba. And the outcome of the interview led to the arrest of Warren of the four I mentioned, details contained in the Poison's Cast 98 of 722, which I therefore refer to, and which is my A1 statement in that Poison's. Warrant Officer Woods.
Wait, my apologies, Colonel. Before you move on to that paragraph, just to understand, you are saying that the outcome of the interview leads then to their arrest. And at this stage, if I'm understanding, you are still waiting for LCRC. The bags haven't been offloaded, neither have they been opened. So in terms of the interview leading to the arrest, at that stage, what were you arresting them for?
Now, Commissioners, I stated earlier on, their action were intended to defend of justice. That was the first thing that I told them. I further said, should other investigation prove you otherwise, then you will be charged possession with dealing in the drugs because of this, the magnitude and originality. And here you are not. This is pure dealing. That is what I told.
Okay, so at this stage, they understood that they were going to be arrested. You can then, my apologies.
No, I'm fine. I think there was some, but that one that I want to, I think is maintained in.
Okay, so we can go to paragraph.
Mashaba, who is one of that, made a call.
My apologies, 60.
Warrant Officer Woods of LCRC arrived at around 14 hours, and in the presence of all four now arrested, in the presence of the arrested, now Captain Norkia, Warrant Officer Morris, and Machebe started offloading the black sports bag wrapped with black masking tape from the black Nissan. The first bag was unwrapped, and the content inside was brick-like. And I took it because they were about, these bags, they were about 23, but having different numbers of those brick-likes. The first bag, if I still remember well, it was containing around 23 bricks, which, according to my knowledge, each brick was estimated to be a kilogram, then of which I can arrive to a conclusion that, which means the black bag one could be estimated at 23 kg. That was my assertion. And then I took one of those bricks in the presence of indicating to them, before I could say, I suspect this to be, I have to have reasons. Then I took a pin, pressed it on this, then I did that as demonstrated. You see, then now I can come to, guys, according to me, I will say, you will be dealing in that. Your actions of defeating, to me, suggest that you are also dealing in this. That is when I arrived at that arrest, Commissioner.
Colonel, when you opened one and opened to see the content, the powdery substance, where was Officer Stein, Morris, here? Were they also?
This is how the scene was. Machebe, Morris, and Dale, Nokia, they are responsible for everything that they are doing. I'm now in charge, scene manager. I'm saying to them, there was for sure one example of bag that was opened that shows how we opened. Then I said, we open one. I want to show this gentleman what is inside the bag, because they are clueless. They don't know what is. Then that is when, can't recall whether it was Morris, Machebe, but that is when that was opened. And then one brick brought to me, performed exercise, was then taken aside. It cannot be counted. It cannot be put in the same seal bag as though should Warrant Officer want to further his with regard to that is what I did.
And was Warrant Officer Woods present for that?
That is correct.
And was this then the bag that was opened, photographed as well?
Before we open the bag, we request you take the bag at its original state. We are now doing demonstration. Open, you take it, then we are opening it. You open, then we are counting. We count from aside. After counting, he took.
So if we can go to page maybe from 56.
In the stain file, I don't know if that will.
No, I'm trying to glance at the site because I had asked for the stain file to be loaded. I'm just checking if it's ready.
Stain 109 and 180.
Yes. Yes, so you started by opening, by photographing it as it was on the van, and then as you open each bag, unwrap.
That is.
There are other pictures in the stain file. It's at the beginning of the exhibit. Yes. Colonel, can you confirm that that's a representation? So at page 4, you see all of the bags offloaded, all of them are closed. Then 5 is one bag opened.
Yes.
You see that. And then at 6 is where all of them are, at least one bag is unpacked.
Yes.
No, I just wanted you to confirm that's what you were describing.
Yes, this is what I was describing.
And then also you you say there are clearly images on the bricks themselves. There's a Red Bull on some.
Yes, there's a Red Bull on some.
And
others, you can see the eagles and
at
eagle
page
eye.
8.
Seagull, we were told. Seagull.
At page 8.
Yes.
And just to get a sense, had you seen these pictures before, or this kind of marking before?
Yeah, before this incident.
Yes, these very ones.
This branding are common in my investigation. I've come across them before. I've worked at the airport, intercepted some of this.
And then you indicate that once you took a pin and inserted, and you saw the primary white substance, which you say you concluded or suspected that it was cocaine.
Correct.
You then informed the 4 that they were arrested for now defeating the ends of justice and an additional charge of dealing in drugs. And now, did the counting of these exhibit pin in front of the accused or the suspect?
Immediately when warrant officer Woods arrived, when we offload, 4 of them were made to be present to see, so that they must not come at a later stage and claim that one of the bag was moved in a suspicious manner, might be missing. So the counting, everything, offloading back, because they were not counting when they were. That is what I have detected when on my interview. I wanted to know how many bags are in, could not stay.
So in the process of offloading, unwrapping, and counting, what of it did they witness?
What?
Which aspect of it did they witness? Just the offloading and the one bag being opened, or the entire process of processing the bag?
They have to see the entire process. Offloading, opening, counting, sealing. Because after counting, after having done everything, now we have to put them on our own forensic bag, not the spot, on our own.
Okay. Officer Mahan testified that he only witnessed some and not the entire process of counting.
I will say that was his selective way of wanting to admit certain. He was present at all times.
And in fact, I think it's all of them who denied being part of the entire process. That too. And just to take a step back, when you said you've seen the insignia before, the seagull and the bull, was that ever linked to any case that you can recall?
I cannot ever linked
Yes.
to any.
A drug cartel or something that you can recall?
What I can recall, or what I've identified during my term as an investigator, is the only thing that I can testify or that I can tell this commission is to say they were coming from the same direction.
Direction being?
They were from Sao Paulo in Brazil. All, if not most of that I've dealt with. I don't have to say all because I don't know of others, but that I was dealing with regard to this insignia and others, they were tracked to be from the same direction, which is like these ones. They were loaded at a port in Sao Paulo.
Santos.
So, Port of Santos in Sao Paulo.
And have you, in the past, where you've seen this, identified the recipient?
The challenge is here. Most of the people that you are you can see that they are being used. They will be charged with, but they are not able to explain where they. Even because I have to inform this commission, some will just come through this code. When we look at the address, if you go to the address, you will find maybe they can either give an address, but when you go at the address, they can even give my own address, my address, because they will be knowing the courier people. They make a call because they will be knowing where they go. The person, that the intended recipient, will be just an ordinary person. When we get into the address, the owners of the place, we will find them not to know the person who is because he has never.
They are not expecting a consignment.
They are not expecting consignment. That is the tricky part of this type of.
The point that you always are curious, but never did.
Thank you, Colonel. And then just in relation to Warrant Officer Woods, if you can go to page 17 of the exhibit, the big file.
Yes, I'm on 17, Commissioner.
You'll see there at, can you just read paragraphs 4 and 5?
Yes. Due to the request from Detective Warrant Officers, I attended an alleged scene of crime at Omni Park, Aeroton. The scene and certain points were indicated to me by Detective Warrant Officer Joseph. After I made my own observation, I took photos of the alleged scene of crime.
So, you see what she says there differs from your recollection. Could it be that she came earlier, or because on your affidavit you say she arrived at around 1400 hours and in the presence of offloaded the vehicle, and you also testified that you would have been the one who would have told her, laid out the scene for her.
When she arrived at the scene, I personally, or maybe I don't know when she was drafting this, the person that she knows there was, but I remember explaining to her what was happening. But I cannot dispute what she said. Reason being, she wanted to know what was. I don't know, because she has got a format of completing people, like people who introduced her to the scene. I don't know whether when she arrived, she met with Rukhoso. Then on that pro forma statement where you enter the name of people, she entered. But I don't want to say much about that, because that is her testimony.
All right. Thank you, Colonel.
Do you think she arrived only 15 minutes after you had arrived? I'm asking that looking at paragraph 6 and 7 of your statement, your main statement. You got a call at 11 and you arrived at the scene 30 minutes later, which would have been 11:30. It says you arrived at...
But everything around. So for the sake of not trying to be lost, the time of the arrival time, maybe, we'll say me, but the whole scene, when it was started, it was around that time.
Thank you.
And I see the arrest of possible.
That is correct.
4 people.
That might be.
Thank you, Colonel. Then can we go to paragraph 17?
Mashaba, who is one of the arrested, made a call on his cell phone, and he wanted me to the person he was. And that person introduced himself to me, and he wanted to know if there cannot be any amicable solution. And I said they are under arrest. And his reply was, no problem. Okay, no problem.
Just to understand, did you know where Brigadier Shibiri was from?
What?
Where was he from?
I was told it's organized crime. I don't know what type of provincial.
And when he says he wanted to know if there cannot be any amicable solution, what does that mean?
I did not want to answer because I said, Brigadier, these people are under arrest. No further.
What did you ask? What did you understand him to be?
Maybe he did not want us to proceed or to take that direction that we are taking of arrest. That is my thinking now, to say, but then, not now. Because he is saying, don't we have any other thing that we can, other than that? I said, they are under arrest. He said, no, thank you.
Oh, so you understood him to be asking,
then
maybe not arrest.
Then in one of my discussion, because that call, I still have to relay it to my superiors to say, I got this strange call from this. I remember, I said, General Card, but that was not on the day. But I said, on that day I got, when we were doing the presentation now, on the cell phone records, I was in General Card. I got a call from a person identified himself as Shibiri. Whilst we were still there at the scene, he said, no, he also phoned me. He wanted to know. Because when he was calling me, I said, just bear in mind, I'm working this with my general. He is here. He dropped. That is when he said, okay, he dropped. Then when I'm relaying the incident to General Kabi, he said, I got call. It was strange from. Then he said, he also phoned me. I said, what did he say? He said, no, arrest them. On that call, General Kabi said, he received, if the record, the cell phone record state, it will show that it was Mashaba and then General Kabi, because he did not call me on my phone. He was phoned by Mashaba. After dropping the call, then he called General Kadis. What I got, that's when I was presenting what looked suspicious. Shibiri.
And just to make sure I follow, to you he asked about amicable solution. To General Kadwa he said arrest. Then you can proceed to paragraph 18.
We continued to process the scene, and Captain Norkia and Morris were recording as part of my investigation. I confiscated all the cell phones of the arrested.
Okay, can we stop here? Just to understand, Captain Norkia and Warrant Officer Morris were processing the exhibits. Did you play any part in the recorder of that process?
I must at all times be present when they're in the county, and they're entering those exhibits, because Colonel Stein also what he did, he arranged for the SAP-13 book to be brought to the scene so that everything can be recorded at the scene.
And
Ms. Bowe asked you play any plan, and your answer is I must always be present. So were you present watching, counting, or were you counting in that you also did count?
They were counting in my presence. I was not.
You were not counting?
I was not physically counting.
And you were not putting into
I was not putting them.
so while you were watching, did they tell you about the final numbers?
Yes.
Do you recall?
But I think
If you don't recall, it's so
I can't recall, but I know they were when I was estimating, when I was compiling, I said they are about half a ton. That was my conclusion. Those kilograms, as long as they are above 500, which means they are a ton.
There's a record.
No, because
even if you don't recall.
I'll take you there.
I can't remember. There were 7.
There should be.
There must be 7 something.
7,
because
yes.
that was, yes. What they told me, the number that they told me is around 7.
Yes, I think that's the
715.
715, 71.
Just to say that we've heard testimony. In fact, we've just looked at Morris's statement where he deals with, maybe let's just go to page 6.
Which one?
The big one.
Page?
6. Can you see that's a statement? It's a statement from Warrant Officer Morris. And if you go to paragraph 9, he then itemizes or lists the number of bricks that have been placed in each forensic bag. You see that?
Yes.
And when you count, so the number that he's listed as 16 packages, if you add all of those numbers together, you only get to 700.
I'm lost, Commissioner.
So you see how he says from the first sport kit bag, we placed 18 packages into the unique forensic bag number X.
Yes.
And then again, it says 14 packages into unique bag number X.
Yes.
Now, if you count the number of packages listed, you only get to 700.
Yes.
The same happens when you look at the SAP 13 register. I'm just finding which is on page 277 of that same file. Are you there?
Yes, I'm on 277.
Yeah, you'll see there again. It will list the evidence bag number, and then it will describe how many packages were in that evidence bag.
That is
Except there's one of them where the total number hasn't been set out. But if you take that bag number and check it alongside Warrant Officer Morris's statement, you'll see the number there. But when you calculate the number of packages, you add them together again. Based on the SAP 13, you also then just get to
that is correct.
Maybe to complete the point, when the lab then does a count of the same 29 bags, the total there is 700. You go to page 313. That is the statement, the 212 statement of Modise. And if you go to paragraph 3, are you there?
313, yes.
Yes. You'll see there, she says that she was on duty and received 49 sealed evidence bags and lists all of the unique numbers. And then at the last sentence says the total number of solid substance block was 750.
Where?
The last sentence of paragraph 3.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes, so there seems to have been a mistake in the count of...
Is the explanation perhaps, I don't know, I'm not sure about it, but I remember Colonel Stein saying that one of bricks got stuck on the side of the bag, stuck with that. Perhaps that may not be the explanation, but I remember that where it fits in the scheme of things.
Yes,
or is it already accounted for where you take us 700?
No, it only just creates another mistake that would have been the 700. And that's explained. If you look at page 310, there's an affidavit by Omabasa that deals with the additional brick that was received, and that's after the 700. And just to say that I think, if I recall, Colonel Stein did accept that there is a mistake. Similarly, and we'll deal with the Gerber report. Remember the internal report from DPCI also noted that there were mistakes after exit. Were you aware of that?
What I remember is that with regard to one that was left, I think in the docket, Captain Norkia brought me another statement to say this is the last one that was submitted to forensic. Then I attached it because he said when we reached there, we found that the numbers are not tally. So then this is what we did. We traced then this bag. I don't know, but there was an explanation to that by Colonel Norki, by Captain Norki. This is an additional statement of resubmit.
Yes,
the ones that were not part of the first one that was sent. I got that.
Yes, the explanation was that Warrant Officer Woods, when they took all of the packaging material for testing, that one of the blocks was stuck in all of the bags are wrapped in tape. So when they were running that analysis, discovered that one of them stuck, and they gave it to the Warrant Officer, and that was then taken a month later to the lab, bringing that to 700.
I agree.
Yes, so I'm just so you had no knowledge of the.
When Captain Norkie was giving me this second statement, that is when I became aware that not all bricks were submitted at the same time. But of the report, on the report of, you said the Gerber report, I was not aware of that.
All right. Then just to complete what happens along the exhibits, you know that the exhibits were then Boyce and SAP 30. Do you know anything about the movement of the...
I kept on checking because we work at it as a team. When I will submit those exhibits, because Captain Norkie informed, even I think Colonel informed, you must remember that the station commander of Boyce does not want those drugs to be kept there for a long time. Then I'm then informed that forensic is saying they don't have a space. They are making an arrangement on the date on which they can send them to forensic.
And who gives you the update? Who's telling you this?
I'm informed by Colonel State.
Okay, and then you know that Boysens doesn't want them, and the lab is saying that they'll give you a date on which to give them. What happens in that interim period? What do you know of what happened?
Then later on, I was told by Captain that an arrangement has been done that they be removed from Boysens SAPS and they will be kept at Pretoria. There is a good space, there is a safe there that they can lock them.
And from your knowledge and experience, was that appropriate?
I will say any movement or any change should be substantiated by it. If they say Pretoria College has got a safe, one will have to submit a statement because that chain must not be broken. The continuous possession of those drugs must have clear passage to say they have went, then, and it must also be stated their originality, referring to after the packaging. When forensic receives them, they must receive them in the state at which they were packaged. So that is why I'm saying any movement, any person who will be coming across that exhibit must submit. If, like I was told by Captain Nurki, they said there was an arrangement that they be kept at Pretoria College. I don't know whether the Pretoria College they were referring to the Pretoria Police Training College or what, but the indication to me was they will be kept at Pretoria.
Now we know from testimony that the college or the area in which the exhibits were kept is not a SAP safe. There's no, the check-ins that are usually done, SAP registers, so, and a clerk and all of that, that doesn't exist at a college. It's essentially a strong room.
And that was part of arrangement.
And is it appropriate based on your knowledge?
I will say it is appropriate only if I have acquainted myself with the type of the security where it is supposed to. If I can now say it's not appropriate, and then the evidence is brought to me that it was a safe, the police were in charge of the keys, there was 24-hour guard, no one else has laid his hand on those exhibits, then if it was done that way, I will say it's appropriate. But if it was just dropped or taken to a place where the security is questionable, that I won't accept to be appropriate.
You were no longer personally responsible for the custody of the substance.
Colonel, if I remember the testimony of Colonel Steyn correctly, he testified that there were no cameras and that there wasn't a guard directly in front of where there are, of course, guards around college. Does that in any way change your?
It can't change.
And then just to complete this, we also heard testimony that when the exhibits arrived at the labs, the lab noted that there were small tears in the bag, necessitating Norkia and Morris use 8 of the bags into new evidence. Were you aware of this?
That is a common practice, but I was not aware of this.
And just generally, as an investigating officer, how far does your oversight of these processes go? So, at the scene, you're very clear that you witnessed everything and they did it, you were there, it was in your presence. After that, when it comes to the movement of your exhibits, what exactly is your role? Or is it very limited?
There was some tasking to say you will be. In terms of movement, once there is a team that has taken the custody, that remains with. Mine is just to get each and every statement of the movement to say this is what we, so that it can still maintain the integrity of my evidence. So, but if certain facts are not disclosed to me, then that I can say that can be questionable.
And just to complete the picture of what happens with the exhibits, I do note that by 2022, you were no longer in this investigation. We know from testimony that sometime in 2024, the lab discovers that kilograms is unaccounted.
What happened?
136 kilograms is unaccounted in what remains. Thank you. Colonel, then let's move to paragraph 19.
I have noticed in the downloading record of all, Mashaba did not know Mohana before 09/07/22, and they were introduced to each other by a person stored as Police Albert, who became to be known to me as Warrant Officer Pok, who at the time was hospitalized for COVID.
Thank you. Colonel, just to get the timeline here, you confiscated the phones on the day, and then you mentioned that when you noticed something in the downloading. When did the downloading happen?
Even though I cannot give exact, but my investigation in terms of the gadget, they were quick because within a space of a week, I had already identified before we could go for their bail application. That is when I identified through when they were checking, because I kept in contact with the people doing download. There you are having a strong case. There is this communication. Then I went and checked because that thing must be quickly done. I just needed something at the initial part of my investigation to say, no, with this, now I'm armed with the charge dealing in that. Based on the first communication chat that I got from Nkusfu, because the reason why I requested his presence at the scene was doubt, created a lot of doubt. I wanted to know, this person is hearing. Maybe I can get something. That is when I was called to say, no, there is this suspicious communication.
So are you saying that within the space of a week, at least a preliminary assessment had been done, some sort of preliminary analysis had been done, but that you were still
But it was
undertaking
not yet,
further?
it was not yet compiled to me to say now you can use it as a complete part of our digital inventory.
Okay, so you were given some information about it, but the complete analysis wasn't done yet. And then you say that you noticed that Mashaba didn't know Nkoana, and that they met each other through Pokungwane, which seems like it's on that day. What did you make of
The issue of Warrant Officer Pokungwane, it was detected on the cell phone. This communication says, it says, we are not happy about our consignment being intercepted at Isipingo on the 22 of June 2021. You remember, mine is done on the 9th. Then this part of communication speaks to the thing that happened a month earlier, which is June, on the 22nd of. This is that communication says. Now the police get people who will secure and make sure that the police does not intercept. This is the instruction given to Nku. Nku now is forwarding this message to Mashaba. General, organized members. The people are not. This communication on itself now brought conclusion to me. Now I'm now in the case to say the people now that are brought, which is Nkoana and Paku, because they wanted the real soldier. These are the real soldiers.
Can you please take us step by step through everything you are saying? If you're saying it based on the statement of somebody, please take us.
No, this is only based
Everything that you are saying now.
Okay.
Step by
Thanks. Cell phones were seized. They were taken for downloading. Then evidence that came out of the downloading, which I cannot all explain now because we have to do a presentation. I remember I did to different heads of the province. Then that evidence then it was speaking to Pokungwane. In fact, the people that
Are you talking about WhatsApp chats?
Sorry, ma'am?
Are you talking about WhatsApp chats? What are you talking about?
The WhatsApp chats. That were obtained. Then there was, after that, there was WhatsApp calls. Then it shows that people called each other, Nkoana and Mashaba. The calls lasted for, I cannot now, but it shows that is when he was submitting the telephone number because on the WhatsApp chat he said, you will get one. Then after that call, Mashaba is making a call too.
Just a minute. Colonel, we feel that you are not giving us sufficient detail. You seem to be proceeding from the premise that the information is available somewhere there. Yes, it is, but for purposes of our own record, because we will have to make our own find, we want the detail for our. Perhaps we should take the lunch adjournment at this stage, come back at PM, and if you want to lay your hands on the presentation you are referring to, please do so over the lunch break. We want detail. What did the chat say? Who said what to whom? And you must take us through that step for the narrative to make sense. We don't want to read between the lines. Am I making sense?
It makes sense, Commissioner, but
Yes.
now the problem is I even may try to make an arrangement. Those who are now having and those who were having, because that was left with the Jamestown paper. I don't know, but it is there. I spoke to the analyst at some stage when I was requested because I said, I think certain evidence need to be presented. Then he said, crushed. But what he's having? He said it's a bigger, I think it's on Excel.
But it may be enough for the immediate for us to tell a story that flows, that makes sense, that tells us who said what to whom. Surely you remember part of, if not all of them, off the top of the detail may not necessarily be what is contained in it. All we want is for you to tell us a coherent. That's why the story is not all. Say there were WhatsApp, then you are left in the darkest, the detail. Am I making sense?
Commissioner, you are still making sense. I will just make sure that I make a phone call. If there is still that, they can just make sure that they email such so that it can be presented.
Perhaps Ms. Bowe will come to your rescue. Yes, Ms. Bowe.
Yes, Chair, we do have some information at our disposal. If we can just take the lunch adjournment, I'll discuss with Colonel if we have the same thing, and if not, I'll assist him to make means.
Thank you very much. Let's adjourn and resume at 2 p.m.
Which is
And then, Colonel, from that communication, do you know if Mr. Mashaba activated anyone else? So we know that he tried Pokungwana and got a number for Mahane. Did he make any other calls during that to other?
There was a WhatsApp call, Commissioner, to Lieutenant Malule. That I cannot say the time, but happened around, it can be around 9. It can be that communication. He contacted Malule on.
And I don't suppose you remember the time of this, whether it was early, it was earlier. And just to clarify which Maluleke you're talking about, because there were 2 Malulekes on the scene. Which one do you say was contacted by Mr.
It was Malule who was with at organized crime.
I think it's a Lieutenant-Colonel.
Lieutenant-Colonel.
And were those then the only 3 police early by Mr. Mashaba?
Except, okay, the police officers that were contacted, except for the one that happened in my.
Oh, no. So that was later in the brigadier?
Yes.
All right. And you weren't able to pick up from this analysis who calls Sergeant Pakula?
Pakula is called by Ma.
All right.
By sergeant, you mean warrant officer?
Warrant officer.
Oh, because there's the sergeant who's the younger brother.
Yes, certainly.
Of K9.
Yes. It's just to clarify, warrant officer now, the
Yes,
testified. Yes. So this also then covers. Maybe can you please read paragraph
Before
20?
you leave the text, leaving that, there's this WhatsApp chat, stain file 115. Stain. The Colonel can just tell us if he has been
115.
whether in your analysis you were able to find the party WhatsApp.
Yes, I'm seeing them.
Are you familiar with?
Yes.
I must say to you, we're getting it from paper, but during that,
Yes.
able to tell us who are the.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Are you able to tell us who was?
This communication is between person Alpha and.
So is Alpha the business person?
No, sorry, I'm sorry. This communication is in the screenshot of Nku, which means it's a communication between this person who has sent. He shows his. In fact, it seems there were 2 people talking aside. Now this other one want to prove to Nku that this is the level that we are, because it is in Nku's screenshot. That will suggest to say it cannot be him communicating with other. He just screenshot the communication of other 2 that were raising this one, which means he wanted to show those on the ground how the bosses are worried.
I'm sure we'll get the analysis. For now, you say this is what was found. Phone.
For it to make sense, great chairs should be by Nku or not, because those containers are still there, and it's Nku that we know have been on the. Give me till 7, boss. Pressing all this. Do you also think that's Nku, a gray instead of the blue, or as opposed to?
Can also suggest to that person. That is why I'm saying. The only worry was that why now is it in a screenshot? But when you look at it, you can see it might be who's saying give it until 7 and pressing.
And those containers are all right. Thank you.
On 9 July, the day.
That was the.
And Colonel, just to tie it up, how many phones did you seize from Mr. Nku?
Commissioner, if maybe I can have the statement of because number, but if I remember, some of those people they were even to the. And what I've realized in the download, we did not get Pakula's state cell phone. Was not that part of.
All right. Colonel, can you then read into the record paragraph 20? Because I think you've dealt with it in some way. 20 of your statement.
On the cell phone, the record of Tumelo Nku found suspicious communication, which says police must not in the one, and then on the 2022 Tumelo will then raise the same con with Mashaba, they will be safe. There was also a photo that was taken from Apollonia ship that arrived.
Sorry, what was the?
On Tumelo Nku, there was a photo of the yellow jersey truck, but I'm not having it. Those photos were the yellow jersey truck, the container.
And then you say that you also found further encrypted communication on Trima.
One of them, this indicates, this message that we are talking about, it shows that it came from this encrypted communication stream. It shows that it was not WhatsApp. It shows they were communicating.
And you say that then all of this communication was then put.
Last continue.
You say that this was then put into all of this communication.
I heard the communication. I had everything when I left. It was sent to everything that I'm testifying. They were in.
And then, can we move past the messages that were discovered phones? There'll be a further witness on that night. Then we can move to paragraph 22.
Do that. We've heard from, and I asked paragraph today, we've heard from General arrived, we've heard that. You don't say anything in.
Commissioners, I have not seen General Khan, but it only came to my knowledge that when I was just checking to see there is this information, General Khan was there. But myself, I did not even engage with. Then I was informed that there were 2. In fact, there were 2 generals, except for General Khan. They mentioned other General Khan, the same name, but I was told, but that did not. General Khan, I'm told, I don't know that one will, the only information about General Khan in this thing.
So when you hear that, what you've heard about said he was at for you while you were there, you not seen.
Commissioners, when I was making a statement to IP, that is when I'm informed that I have been instructed by General Khan to arrest, of which I didn't. Because during the time of At that time when I was dealing with the information and interviewing of them, I did not see. I did.
If he was present on the scene when you were there, considering the role that you play, you would have seen as act, because I think what we've heard, he spoke to Mashaba, Khane, I think Pakula as well, asked them who are their superiors, called their superior. They did about knowledge of people being on the scene. We heard from Pakula that when LCRC was there, Pakula was introduced to Khan. Pakula went to Khan and Khan told him to stand down. But before he stood down, went to the motor vehicle that had a drug, black, to remove the seals that were passenger seat, was stopped taking. So according to Khan was there at the same time as LC. Khan was instructions. A question to you, you were in charge of scene. You would have seen him if he did what?
Yes.
But you're saying you did not.
And I did not know.
You didn't know him.
I didn't know General Khan.
You had never seen him.
I only came in contact with him after this.
And he was, according to this account, he was at the scene. He did not come to say, I'm here. No one said to you, General Khan's here. Nothing of sorts.
Commissioners, that's what the reason why I heard only when the IPP was listening me, because I did not. I asked General Khan, that was General Khan there. He said he was, and together with other, I can't remember who that is, but he told me about it. He did not even interrupt me and him.
Kadwa at the scene.
General Kadwa was there.
Who was he?
He entered at the scene with Brigadier Loyola. And because that is why I said, where they stopped, that was where other people were. That will include employee of that company. That is why even when my Brigadier Sebola, when arrived, she also stopped with them. Then she came to me at a later stage, but she did not take part on what was said. So I did not know General Khan. But
it's possible that he...
It can be possible. I can't, that one I can't.
Can I assist here? Colonel, maybe let's go to the statements that are in the docket, because I think once you go through the statements, you'll see that he played a very significant role, and it would be odd that you didn't speak. Let's start with the statement of Mohobuya. It starts at page 113. 113.
Of the first bundle.
Yeah, the big bundle. You will see that's the statement of a Mashile Mohobuya, who is or was a sergeant at the time. Do you recall him at all?
I can't.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Now,
this one.
He gives an account of what was happening at the scene. Of importance, I think, let's go to paragraph 9. You'll see in the paragraph preceding paragraph 9, he talks about the scene and how there was fights or arguments at the scene. And then at paragraph 9, he says, after General Khan arrived at the scene, he took over the scene and interviewed the first responder to the scene.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
And then he goes on to say that General Khan he was standing next to Mashaba, and I heard him saying, who called the general here? We want to leave with our things. If he didn't come here, we were going to leave. People like to call too much. I can make or start to call also if it will end up sour. You see that?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Yeah, so this officer is essentially saying that not only did General Khan arrive, but that General Khan took over the scene and seems to suggest that he was interviewing or at least talking.
I'm seeing this statement.
Now, if we go to, let's go to page 170.
117.
170. And at 170, you'll see that's the statement of a Bruce Paul Bok,
Yes.
who is the unit commander of serious and organized crime.
Yes.
So if we go to paragraph 2, the second sentence, he says, at 11:55, I received a telephone call from Major General Khan who also asked me whether I had a Colonel Maluleke reporting to me, and that was in charge of the narcotic investigation within my unit, to which I responded in the affirmative. The general further stated that he was going to arrest my member who was on the scene, namely Colonel Maluleke and Sergeant Masuma, from my unit for defeating the cause of justice. I informed the general that if they have grounds to do so, that they must proceed.
I see it.
Then, if we can, I'm going to ask us to go to a different file together. If we can, the file with Ms. Maposho's statement and annexes.
Page?
That was page 44. Just for context, this is a statement obtained by IPID from a I'm not sure about the rank, but a SAPE, Officer SAPE, who is from the dog unit and had arrived at the scene together with Sergeant Pakula. And if we go to paragraph 2,
Yes.
I don't want us to read the whole thing. He starts with just saying that he was informed by Warrant Officer Pakula that there was a truck, a yellow truck, informed that the truck was used to transport drugs from Durban Harbour, and also pointed us this is when they arrived at the scene, right? So he's saying that they met up with Warrant Officer, who then showed them the truck and said that the yellow truck was transporting drugs from Durban Harbour, and also pointed us to a truck driver who was also placed under arrest. Warrant Pakula asked me to search the truck and head on the compartment, and was distracted by an African male who was called Rukotso, as they denied us entry or exiting the scene. So I can use the dog, and also accused us of coming to escort the drugs all the way from Pretoria. And there he deals with General Khan and informed them that General Khan, we were also asked by General Khan of our involvement on the scene, and further informed him that our commander gave us permission to come. So he covers also General Khan's intervention and General Khan questioning them about their presence.
But this statement, Commissioner, is very strange.
Why is it
Strange in the sense that if really he was there at the scene, I understand K9 members drive a marked vehicle with, then upon my arrival there was no K9 parked around the scene. Except to say the only marked vehicle was that one, and the one driven by Captain of flying again. The names, Sapi and Pak, were brought to me. They even called me, volunteering to submit statements. I know them. The reason why I'm saying this is strange, because I asked questions to say, were you really at the scene? They were giving a contradicting version to say, we were still coming. Immediately when we entered, there were a lot of police interned. Then I said, what statement are you going to give? Then they left. I was only surprised when the defense was doing representation to say there are these statements. Even Colonel Maluleka, who's working under Colonel Bok, requested to make a statement to me. We had a chat with him. Said, what statement? What role did you play? Why did you not take over this? Because upon my arrival, yes, I've noticed that you were there. What did you do? He could not. He was just standing like an onlooker. Then,
Colonel, before you go to, I've written here in my notes that we must come back to deal with the statement of Lieutenant-Colonel Maluleka. I don't want, because I know you want to comment on the statement. I just want to take you through all of the statements that mention General Khan's involvement, and then get your. So just to say, you see from what we're reading, it's not only SAP who you say is questionable. There are more. Can I take you to?
I do understand, and I know.
Then, sorry, and on to your point about why they weren't there, you'll see in paragraph 3, he deals with why they left the scene. And that was because the dog was in the motor vehicle in the sun, and they informed General Khan that the dog was dehydrated. It was at that point that they were allowed to.
On Sapi's statement?
Yes.
Paragraph 3?
Yes. Then go to, just to place it on record that even Sergeant Pakula from the dog unit recounts the story as Officer Sapi. And then to complete it with the statement of Sipungu that's in the docket, we can go to page 223. Unfortunately, the statement doesn't have paragraph numbers, but the third paragraph that starts with at about 10. Yeah, I again received a call from General Khan, who asked me if the member Warrant of Akula informed about operation. I told him that he called me and informed me about the operation. He further told me that he was going to arrest the member because his story does not make up, saying that the story doesn't add up. So in addition to the office, Mahane and Pakula, who speak about General Khan's involvement, his participation is also confirmed by all of these people that were contacted by General Khan from the scene where he was making inquiries about the members present. And what is also significant about what the supervisors say, so Bok and Pungu, they say very clearly that General Khan informed them that their members were going to be arrested. So it seems to me that General Khan played a significant role at the scene. Mohoboya goes as far as saying that he was in charge of at a point. And so to me, your answer to Commissioner Baloyi seems insufficient. It appears from the docket that Khan played a very significant, at least in the time that, and just to say that General Kadwa does also confirm that General Khan was at the scene and gave him a brief.
I think I never interact, even for can you dispute the fact that Khan was there? I am still saying I can't dispute, but the only thing that I never had any contact with General.
Suppose Colonel.
If he had taken over the scene, would you not have seen that? Because one of the statements that Ms. Bowe referred us that General Khan took over. If that had, you not have seen it?
Commissioner,
Especially as I understand the situation, you were.
It would never have happened when I.
So how do you explain the statement that says he took over?
No, I'm saying when I took over this.
Yes, I know. So which would mean that he either took the scene over from you or further down the line from somebody who might have taken it over from you. But I don't think anybody else took it over from you. So would you not have seen him if he had taken it?
I would have, unless if he came before me, because when I look, they speak about someone is saying 9, the other one is, but I don't want to use.
Before does not look possible. Not on the information that we, I'm saying before does not look possible.
Even in my presence, it did not happen.
So my question then is, are you able to explain the statement that says that at some stage he took over?
No.
You see, what he says in his statement, this General Khan, he says when he left the scene, he left General Kadwa. He's at the scene at some point that you say he approached the members who were standing next to the black bucket. So we know he wasn't. In fact, Kula does say he was at some point, they were made to stand. He introduced himself, Khan. I asked them what they were doing there. Then one of them was Maluleke, told me that this was his operation, that he was from the DTI, Pretoria. These are the members that are standing there. I asked him who his commander was, and he said, Colonel Bok. He gave me the number, whom I called. Bok told me he was not aware of the operation, that Ms. Bowe has done that with you. And then he says, I then saw a member that I recognized on the scene, warrant of Pakula. Pakula does say he was there. And we know that Pakula would have been, on your version, according to the scene. So Pakula would have been there because in the end he's one of the people that are arrested. Khan says, I saw Pakula. And asked him the same question, requested the number of his superior. He then spoke to Mahane, the member who was driving the black, told me his name, asked him for the superior. He told me that he didn't know, he was just about to accompany his friend Mashaba to the decided that more investigation is required. I called Kadwa. So General Khan calls Kadwa. General Khan is on the scene. He calls Kadwa. General Kadwa requested him to come to the scene. I also called General Lekalak. I think General you wanted. So Khan is placing himself on the scene. And he also calls Kadwa. You say you were told later that Kadwa was there standing. And then he called somebody else, Maisela, who is the commander of Mashaba, who told him they were looking for Mashaba. He didn't know. Kadwa and Lekalakala arrived on the scene. He explained the situation to them. After a few minutes, I left the scene. And then I informed my divisional commissioner. And then I received a call from Sipungo, who asked me for permission to visit the scene. I told him to please contact Kwad Kadwa, who was left in charge of the scene. So on General Khan's account, you were never in charge of the scene. That's on his account. You were never on the scene. And this is a statement, it's part of the docket. You were never in charge of the scene. Kadwa was in charge of the scene. What I'm seeking to make sense of is, in your statement, you don't mention Kadwa. In your evidence, you say you were told he was. So on your account, he was inactive. Khan places him on this. Pakula makes him active on the scene. Pakula explains this is what Khan did, coincides with. We've also seen WhatsApp exchanges between Khan and Pakula, which confirmed Khan was a scene. So that you don't mention him at all. And the first curiosity, but two, and Kadwa is one, and then two, that you say you could not have seen him. It's difficult to comprehend if you were in charge. So in my mind, would make sense if you were not in charge of the scene, right? If you were not placing yourself at the scene, I would say, I can see how you may have missed him. Maybe you were focusing the thing. But as the in charge of the scene, forget for now this contradiction with who was in charge of. You say you were, Khan say was, and as he left, Kadwa. Forget for, if you were in the scene, you would have known Khan is there, given how he describes what he was doing. Forget what Sapea says and the strangeness in his thing. Let's work just with a general who places himself as being that in a scene. Either you were not on the same scene with him, and so you didn't see any of that, or he's being untruthful about being on and being S, or you are the one that's truthful about seeing him, not seeing him, and therefore not accounting. But that also goes for, I think there has to be an X for that. It's curious. And maybe let me finish off by saying that even if you had not seen his scene, you come to know, you say, through the IP. For purpose of our discussion now, I'm prepared to assume when you're now dealing with it. You prepared this statement very recently. You don't say, and I was informed. I learned later that General Khan, I see this from the people's statement, because it's your doc, see it in the docket, but I actually only become, you're completely Kadwa, you minimize it to being a bias. I don't understand.
Sorry, Commissioner, Kadwa.
You said, you don't mention it. You said in your state, you said very little as well. I remember noting, you referred to it in a way. At paragraph 11 of your statement, you say, Colonel Ludic then arrived immediately and dropped his phone, General Kadwa and Brigadier Luella and Lili. So that's the only mention of Kadwa that I picked up. Please correct me if I'm wrong in your statement. And then in your oral, when you were testifying now, earlier in the day, you said, well, yeah, Kadwa, I heard later that he was standing there somewhere. He never played in the
Kadwa.
So I'm saying two things. Your statement is completely, even your oral, you are silent about it, even as you have a docket statements that place in the scene. And his own state, where he places, he say nothing. Not even, I later became a General Khan was supposed to, and you don't say anything. So reading your statement, you give the impression, because your account, your statement gives the impression, oh, this is all the people that were there. You mentioned many, many names. You don't mention, Khan was not there when one, because nothing is said. And then you mentioned Kadwa 11. Someone was talking to him. I've read it, you say Ludic immediately, he arrived immediately after his phone. That's all you say about it. And in your oral evidence now, testimony, you said Kadwa, you later learned Kadwa didn't deal with the scene. I think that's how so what I'm putting to you, it's quite strange.
Can I get clarity in terms of General Commissioner saying, I later learned that he's there?
I think I understood you in your oral. You say Kadwa was there, but am I wrong?
You are correct, Commissioner.
Yes, but Khan says he left him, and so what I'm putting to you, what I'm raising with you, saying this, how could you have missed Khan? If you and he tells us in that he did, I assume Khan has no reason to lie. He has no reason. How that does require? You may.
Commissioner, I still maintain I did not see General Khan. I did not interact with General Khan. For him to say General Kadwa was in charge of, I don't know where he get it from, because General Kadwa, even when Colonel Stein was there, Colonel Stein was the one who was briefing General Kadwa. That is why I cannot say anything about him. Even when the Brigadier Sebola arrived, I was not the one who was briefing him, because I briefed Colonel Stein. He was talking to this. And then also, I get to know that the other general was General Kalal. I did not see. The two, I did not see. Still maintain, when I took over the scene, I never came across that. When I was engaging with Rihoso, yes, he confirmed that it's just that maybe you were not capable. Khan was, but to me, I did not see. Never engaged General Khan, never talked to him on the scene. And General Khan was never in charge of.
What does being in charge of the scene mean? It's confused. Does it mean giving instructions as regards the bags, where they should go? They are offloaded, blood bagging, they are open, the testing of the manner that you described, and then giving instructions and packing in the evidence bags? Or does it mean somebody at the gate stopping other? I'm a bit lost, because a lot of people are saying this one was in charge, told us this one said they cannot come. But it's not clear to me when they refer to, are they referring to the bags, exactly what are they to? What is your understanding in charge of?
If I'm in charge of now the crime scene manager, I'm now taking note of each and everything that is within the scene, even giving instruction of what need to be done, who need to be called, who need to do what. That is the in charge that I'm talking about. This is what my role was. I was in charge of. If they are saying they were in charge, maybe they can explain. Who did they call from LCRC? The record they were keeping, who was keeping the record of the registering those exhibits in the SAP 13, that they must also explain to that, because I know it was me. When I'm saying I'm in charge, should there be anything that goes wrong within that scene, the only person that will answer, be responsible, is the person who is the crime scene manager, who is in charge of those standing off the gate, preventing people from entering. They are just near us. They will be just assistant.
Is it possible for somebody to be in charge of prompt call those?
They are not in charge of. When we are in charge of the scene, you take over the scene until it's finally. You must know what was the last thing that happened. When we are now clearing the scene, I will be able to say, now after the scene has been cleared, I have to compile my incident about what transpired there. That was the person who was in charge of it.
General, did you know General?
I did not know.
In July 20.
I did not know. But somewhere after I was told that also General Galagala.
Because General Khan says he left Kadwa and Lekalakala arrived on that hours, the 9th of July. I explained the situation in Scania warehouse. After a few minutes, you are aware of that.
Now I'm coming out because I don't know where it, but it did not happen inside my.
Colonel, this is your docket. So maybe I'm going to ask you your docket. General Khan, unless you say you haven't read the docket. If you have read, then the question says things that he says the scene, all of these things. Disagree with them because so, but maybe the one that direct is where his hardware was. He says that nothing of such happened. You disagree with completely. You say I wasn't. Now you have that statement in your docket. What have you spoken to Khan? Is there a record where this is your version of him recorded? I would think some of that. You would send the statement. You would have said, General, did you?
Commissioners, I have never even said Khan. The statement, I don't know what prompted those who obtained it.
So you don't know the content
That
of
is
it?
why I will still maintain that. That which General Khan is saying is not true. He was not in charge of it. That which General Khan is saying, General Kadwa was in charge of this, is not true.
You say he was not, because you would have seen
No,
it. If you're seen, you would have seen. Can we at least accept that you, if he had been there, you would have seen him. It's your scene. He says, I was at the scene. I did A, B, C, D on the scene. So I'm putting to you this, that let's assume he's telling the truth. Let's assume he's telling the truth, that he wasn't. Let's assume he's telling the truth when he says, I went and introduced, I think, Kadwa or somebody, to the risk manager of Scania. And I asked this gentleman, who are you, who's commander? If all of that happened on your scene, General Khan did that. And I'm saying to you, let's assume, that all of that he described happened on a scene where you say you were in charge. You would have seen him. That must be so.
Commissioner, let me just, I did not know.
Okay, but you would have seen any member. Let me simplify it for you. It's your scene. If anyone spoke to the three gentlemen that were there, right? If anyone did the things that General Khan claims he was doing, you would have known. You may not have known the name, and maybe later be told, oh, that was the person that did that. Proposition I'm making to you, it's your scene. You are in control of it. You are instructing who's doing what. So you know who are the people that are acting. If General Khan or any police officer had been there and doing what General Khan said he did on the scene, you would have known. You would have seen that. It could not happen without you being aware. Otherwise, you're not fully in charge of the scene there. I want to assume you were fully in charge of the scene, so you would have seen. Maybe you don't know it's Khan. You see a police officer who talking to your suspects.
Commissioner, I did not say. Immediately when I was busy with my suspect, nobody intervened.
Yes, that's not my question. I'm past that. Allow me to repeat so that we don't waste any more time. You say you did not, and you are going to repeat that. That's why I'm stopping you. That's your answer. So I'm putting a proposition to you that if you were in charge of the scene, you say you, and General Khan or any person does what General Khan describes. He says, I did this, I did this. Any person that did that on your scene, you would have seen it. Okay, so on that position, it must mean then that General Khan is being untruthful when he says he was on the scene and you didn't see, you have seen him. So we must assume until he explains himself that in fact he's untruthful. So you would have seen him.
I would have.
Thank you.
Colonel, just as a follow-up, who exactly gets to say which statements are compiled into the docket? Because you seem to suggest that you don't know the reason for which some of these statements were added.
Sometimes at the instruction of.
And the prosecutor would be instructing who? So you yourself. Yes. So then does that mean the Khan statement, which is dated from July 2021, would have been added by who?
Maybe we are still.
Oh, you don't know?
No, it was. I said that statement was brought.
It was brought to you.
Yes.
By who?
Then I asked I said, she then said, there is this allegation of General Khan.
Yes.
Then I got informed by Colonel, I think it's Colonel Stein, bringing the statement to say, this is the statement that is needed at court. Then I just attach it. I have never even, at that stage, I have never even engaged with General Khan. The only time that I know of General Khan with regard to them is when I was sent to prison, that go and obtain a particular statement. He told General Khan that he want to tell you something.
No, I suppose, so you get given this statement and you don't read it?
Because it's just that I did not have intention, because the statement that they are talking about, it was not assisting me in the matter that I'm in. I just say, I'll obtain statement of, I checked this, I was not interested in his statement.
So you checked
because he was not going to assist. I did not see him, like Madulek, he is phoning me. Can I make statement to you? I said, what? And he was at the scene. He said he did not play. In fact, I'm not suggesting something. I'm just saying that statement, the reason why I would...
Colonel, my difficulty is you say you checked it and then For you to conclude that it doesn't help with your investigation, you must have read it. And if you read it, he then clearly says that he played a significant role.
Of which he did not.
So, but you then look at it, you think he's untruthful because he didn't play a part.
He didn't play.
And because he's now a general in crime intelligence, and here is a statement from him that you now say is untruthful. You did what?
You know, sometimes commissioners and state, we even used to struggle with obtaining the people of crime. They are not supposed to submit. That I'm saying, where I'm seated, for the request of that statement, it's also strange. It was also strange. I don't know for what purpose, for what intention was the statement brought to me.
Okay, so let's get this straight. You get a statement that you read and conclude is false because that did not happen. And you don't know why the statement is there. You do not. And then related to that, Colonel, there are two other statements that we went through in the docket from Bok and Sipingu, who also speak about General Khan's involvement. Those statements too, were you familiar with them?
The one of Sipingu that was the one that I obtained on the 10th when the people were at.
Yes, so it's also dated July. And there too, he notes Khan's involvement, including that Khan told him he's going to arrest his members.
Commissioners, it's just that if maybe we were having the investigation diary, I don't know as to whether we have the copy of the investigation diary, because I know myself, whatever statement I obtained, the investigation diary will speak to that. This is what I just want to bring. Any statement, even Sipungu submitted the statement to me that he placed the member. This is what he stated. When I get to check his behavior and his conduct on Saturday, before he could submit the statement, I saw that this man is not going to assist. Then I checked on him. He is placing members on duty, then he is on leave. Then that is why, if we go to the investigation diary, it will speak to. I said, so and so opted to make a statement. Then I attached the statement as per a so and so. Realizing that I'm not happy with the statement, I did a follow-up with the statement that to say, this member is not telling this. That is when I picked up that this man, between the dates of this incident and the court appearances of this member, this man is on leave, but he is placing himself there. But the statement, I said, no, I must, because I wanted to account to that statement. That second statement that I must account, the second statement of Zipung, I don't know, I'm still saying, I don't know at what stage it was brought to my attention. I don't want to associate myself. I did not take two statements of...
Okay, so in essence there too, the statement was brought by somebody else and you didn't consider it because you deemed Spungu untruth because he was on leave. And the interaction I've had with him.
Commissioners, the first statement that I obtained of Shipping indicated to me that he's untruthful. Even if I don't want to entertain the issue of the second. Maybe, yes, there was this connection, a conversation between him and General Khan. That is why that one I can. That is the reason why maybe he submitted. But to who? I still maintain he did not submit the statement.
General Khan?
No, Sipungu. Now I understand. I have to accept the statement that I was not even part of. The one of Sipungu. I did not know that such statement is attached.
You know about?
Yes, I know about.
You know about?
Yes.
You took it. You asked for it.
No.
How does it?
It was brought to me.
And how?
It came with Kennel's statement. If you can check, even the person who commissioned that statement, I believe it's Kennel's statement.
But you became aware of it.
I became aware of it.
Became aware, places himself on quite.
Yes.
My question: when you see that true, what do you do about it? Do nothing.
To be honest, I didn't interrogate of it. I've just seen this. Yes, he admitted that he was on this. I did not pick up that thing because even he was placing General Carter to managing this thing. Maybe he can interpret that being in charge of, not me, but in essence, he was.
Well, it's not just a case of interrogating the statement. His statement is about that. Part of it is about him being contacted, him arriving at the scene, him doing this and that, and at one point leaving. So it's not defined because he interrogated a statement, something that's on the face of the statement. But I refer to the statement only to indicate that even Khan himself places the scene. A whole lot of people placing the scene, including an employee of Scania. There's a Rike who places the scene. I called Khan because I'm a former in his disciplinary. So I called him because I knew him to work for. I called him when I heard at home that a company called Khan did arrive. So you have multiple people who are placing him on the scene. My origination to stand that from your own docket, you would have known that they say Khan was from your own docket. From your IP engagement, you know the story about you were in charge of the scene. You don't mention Khan be there. Not only that, also don't mention that I heard much later statement to say Khan's there and that he was doing AD ID, I never became aware. And your silence about him suggests, may in fact suggest that you made the deliberate decision out of your story, because until it is explained satisfactorily by you why he doesn't, or in your testimony written, it gives the impression you made it until the prison visit. I know you about him there, but his presence at the scene gives me, let me speak, comfort impression that you made a deliberate name out of your mouth. You can comment. Yeah, I've shared with you the information that I'm getting.
Yes, I got you know, but with regard to one, Mr. Ricard, Franco Ricard, on the statement that was never, unless if he made the second statement when IP was in. Franco Ricard, if he's the person that was driving the black Jeep, never make mention of general to me. He explained when upon entering what he observed, going back to where he drove past the roadblock meant by other people, then that was an informant. That one, I think, is the person that I interviewed. But none of them, when I was interviewing them, indicated to me that this is the person that we were to. Could not have ignored what happened, because if I was aware that he once placed himself on the scene, I would have interviewed him one-on-one, because I did not get that part to say, before you could arrive, there was this interaction of your suspect and so and so. I did not get Commissioner, and I did not deliberately ignore the presence of General Khan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. It's worth noting that in the docket, at least 5 individuals, including Khan, places themselves at the scene, and some of these statements were taken in the same month, and so this is in July during your investigation. And I'm not sure we'll get to what happens in the disciplinary hearing, but in Major General Khan's disciplinary hearing, you were called to testify, and there too, you don't mention anything about Khan's presence. And so it does beg the question whether the silence is given the many statements. Major General.
You say did not make what?
I am saying that in the docket and in the month in July, there are a number of statements that make mention of Major General Khan's involvement, including Major General Khan himself. Then later, if you look at your testimony in the Khan disciplinary inquiry, there too you don't mention Major General Khan's involvement. And so I wonder whether or not it's indeed deliberate.
It can be.
Okay, for me, I will looking at me says, and if I remember correctly, Colonel, you said you arrived somewhere there, not exact. And you say when you got there, you just reading his statement. To me, all General Khan says is that he asked various people. I don't read anywhere in called somebody here giving them what he says he was there. You can't do many other, and he says it. But I agree with Commissioner. I don't know what you were asked. Lives and I came here, you knew that, and you were told by Khan, well, that still lives. He said his account, he doesn't say.
And it's fair.
And I think you must accept that.
I am accepting.
You must accept it, but when you came here, you don't have a why. You know what it.
That is.
I'm trying to be neutral. I'm not saying you are right.
No,
I'm not saying.
I think, Commissioner, I'm taking the criticism positively that this is what happened, and it should be little strange those who are getting this.
And the discomfort extends to you, not me. I mean, these are Lieutenant General, they are Major General Cardo, General. If they were present to say that makes sense.
Maybe also in fairness, point out that the various in the disciplinary Khane, they say that Khan is in the bucket black. You say yours to speak sitting. You may have missed it.
If we can then turn to paragraph 22, and you were dealing with the day after.
Yes, on Saturday, the day after, for the was at station, busy taking fingerprints together with Officer Pume. We were confronted by Colonel Sipungu, who I found out that is a trade detective. He said to me, in fact, supposed to be to me, there is no charge of attempted theft. So I have arrested those people. I was so concerned about this utterance. I then phoned Brigadier Sebola, my provincial commander, and she advised me that if he continue, I must report him formally. I then informed Colonel Sipungu, who was with a group of people, that I will report, in fact, his action, and he apologized.
Yes.
On Monday, 2021, 0712, whilst at Boysen's court, trying to place the docket on the roll, so to say, Colonel Sipungu entered the prosecutor's office, and he told the prosecutor, who was busy reading my docket, Sebola did not want to take my statement with regard to supposed to be the incident. And he said Pakula informed him, and he placed him on duty. I investigate the relevancy of what he was telling me by phoning Brigadier Sebola to check with his Sipungu's office. And the response I got was that he is on leave. I then let him make that statement and attached it to the document.
Colonel, what did you make of Colonel Sipungu's conduct with these interactions?
In fact, it was disruptive.
You considered it disruptive?
More directly, that he was saying there was nothing wrong with Akula.
Sorry, Commissioner?
More directly, did not show that he was basically saying there was nothing wrong with the warrant of Akula.
Yes.
He had given him, that was the thrust of he was. I'm not saying that was correct.
No,
I'm just saying.
I just want to say, if indeed he gave Pakula, he should have not started by saying, you should not have arrested these people. There is nothing like attempted theft, because the only thing that you can explain this is to say they wanted to leave. But that is incomplete. That is what he's telling me. That is incomplete. If you wanted to say it's attempted theft, it can be. Then that utterance itself is directly, like it could say, is disruptive. But instead of him to say, I'm only coming here to assist you, Pakula informed me, can I submit a statement so that maybe he can be cleared of any wrongdoing? Then I think that approach and that direction would have assisted me if indeed the intention was to take it.
And then once you find out that Colonel Sipungu was on leave, what was the relevance of? Is it that he couldn't have then granted him?
This was in reference to check the procedure or how do we operate in the police. Once you are placed on leave, you don't get yourself involved in anything that is against you. That is why we have, if you is your second in charge, the other person who is in charge of the office in your absence, he's the person that should have at least say, I can confirm that the member is on leave. But this call, this thing indicated to me that he was used as a cover-up, so that this person is the one that can bail me out of this.
So what you are saying is he should have said to warrant of, I am on leave, seek permission from so-and-so who's acting in my place during my absence.
That is correct.
Colonel, we can move to paragraph 25.
At one stage, when these members were still in custody, I received a call from Major General Carter. This was supposed to be Major General Khan.
Okay.
Major General Commissioner is on commission. Major General Khan is requesting that we go to prison to interview Pakula, since he wants to tell me something. And I went to prison with Warrant Officer Pume and Warrant Officer Mbowan, and I asked Pakula about what does he want to talk to me. The only thing, it was supposed to be this typing error, the only thing Pakula wanted to tell me was that he is working with General Khan. Those are his drugs. That is what now Pakula is telling me in prison. I then informed him that you already appeared. The statement already appeared. The statement you are, in fact, it was supposed to you are making will be inadmissible. I checked with him since he's an investigator. If he can bring it to the attention of the prosecutor, but he did not agree. In short, yes,
Are you suggesting that within SAPS, statements are never supplemented? A particular witness's statement is never ever. Is that what you are saying?
No. This is an accused person. He's an arrested person. In his own statement,
yes, that is so. That is so. The so-called warning statement. Yes. So you're saying a warning statement is never ever supplemented?
No.
Why not?
I think when he wanted to tell me, because already said he's engaging.
Why not? Why is a warning statement never?
Commissioner, and
I'm not saying it is. I don't know. I'm not a member of. I want to and from you. Why is a warning statement never ever?
Commissioner, when you take warning statement, there are certain indications and that you have to interview and warn him against incriminating himself.
You can simply either remind them of the warning you gave or give a fresh warning and then supplement the statement. Why is that?
I felt it's not possible, Commissioner.
I'm sorry?
That was my feeling that it will not be possible for me to obtain such.
You don't know for it?
I don't know for it.
Colonel, did you mean inadmissible, or you meant that it would be contradictory, or?
No, I was telling him that which will be telling me may end up being inadmissible, and of which I think I was just responded to the commissioner when I was questioning about, do you think there must not be an additional statement that after correction we have been.
Do you mean it will be inadmissible to you repeat? I don't understand what you mean when you say.
Yes, I was telling him that which I will be taking from you, it will be inadmissible.
You say.
No, if I'm taking that.
You take another statement.
If I am taking it, so the best thing, we must first engage the public. That is what I'm to check. So and so is coming up with these new allegations. Are you comfortable with me and you approaching to prosecutor? This is me with. Then he did not agree. So I ended up not obtaining sign.
Colonel, given the nature of this, whether it's an admission or new information, did you not find it prudent to investigate what he was saying or anything? Because it seems like a significant allegation unless you felt differently.
No, it is indeed significant allegation.
Yes.
See, off the top of my head, possible restrictions might be those that relate to admissions and fascist forex. But if he wants to say these are General Khan's, not mine, so it's not as if off the top I don't
Yes.
what the impediment would be. I'm not saying that they wouldn't. As I said,
No, but you are correct, Commissioner. The assertion is correct.
yes, Ms. Paul.
And Colonel, here is somebody you suspect to have been involved, giving you what is a lead, and you didn't find it important to follow up on it or anything?
Did not get that.
So this is a person you've arrested for being complicit in the commission of this crime, and he's giving you a lead and saying this is the person, the owner. You didn't find it prudent to then investigate what he was saying.
As the investigating officer, I will have to, but with caution. So, I did not know what the intention, whether the intention was to mislead, me or to assist.
It's hence the need to get or check it out.
And that is why I'm agreeing that which you were saying, indeed, is another thing that needed an investigation. I'm agreeing.
So
that allegation.
Did you investigate?
No.
Can I ask a different question about that? You, apart from the fact that allegation now very much falls within your docket, because remember you're dealing with a consignment, so it squarely falls within what you are in. Apart from the different, here's a member who informs you or alleges to you that these drugs belong to General. And by the way, when he testified yesterday, Pakulas, he did say to Khan when they met, they say these drugs are yours, and he says it's real talk. But he says this to you. Do you not? And he says this about a general leader. Did you report it to anybody?
I was sent by General. Then I brought the information back to him.
To Kadwa.
To Kadwa. That General, I could not obtain Pakula's state because I don't know whether he's misdirecting me or he's assisting. But this is the allegation. He is saying those drugs belong to General Kadwa.
Okay, so we must ask General Kadwa, what did you do about this info Sebola shared with you?
That is correct.
My apologies. Colonel, you are then sent there by General Kadwa, who said that it was General Khan who is requesting that you go there. Am I correct? And then you are told of the allegations about General Khan's involvement. Then you go back and tell General Kadwa. And I guess I'm trying to understand. He tells you that this comes from General Khan, and then you relay the information right back to the sender. Then we can go to paragraph 26.
26. Their case was enrolled and remanded for formal bail hearing, which was granted a week after their release at call from.
Sorry, Colonel.
Their case was enrolled and remanded for formal bail hearing, which was granted. A week after their release, I received a call from IPIT. I cannot remember the caller, but he was requesting for the copy of the criminal. I did not agree request, and I informed the caller to send the request via the office of the provincial.
And just for clarity, you didn't agree because the request was sent to the wrong person, or why didn't?
I cannot agree for anybody to just say, send me a copy of the, because
So it was not done procedure.
it was not done. The following week, I
Oh
received,
no, my apologies. I just wanted to ask, what did you make of the IP investigation, or the fact that at that stage there was a?
why do they want a copy of that to me? There is no other reason why I was saying, let's officialize this. Write an email to the office. In the email, I think it will be detailed. What information do they want in the document?
Colonel, I was just asking you about what did you make about IP investigating, not necessarily the request.
No, that was not necessary. In fact, they were not telling me that they are investigating me. They are saying we have been instructed to want to see the copy of that.
So at this stage, they hadn't informed you of the investigation, or they were requesting.
They were just requesting that I was not in.
Thank you. You can go to paragraph 27.
The following week, I received a call from Captain Ofson telling me that she will be requesting information of my criminal case docket so that they can continue with the departmental investigation against Mohana. And I advised her to come to the office to assist. I received another call from head office that they have charged Pakula in terms of the expeditious process of the disciplinary hearing. That was the caller. Now if I remember, it was Brigadier Corporal Tata.
Maybe you can read also 20. I'll ask you something. No, I was asking for you to go also through paragraph 20.
This then became a concern to me that how can we have two members of the South African police who are alleged to have committed the same offense then be charged differently in terms of the same disciplinary regulation. I started having that concern. Now Zongezi is requesting this, they are investigating departmental. Now head office is that, but we are guided by the same disciplinary regulation. That is when I said, why can't this investigation happen at the same time? Because
was it not because of where they are stationed that Officer Mahana was stationed and Takula was there in province?
Commissioner, what I can remind this commissioner, we are all guided by the same disciplinary code, which falls within the ambit of the national code, not the station. Whether one is at the station, he cannot charge in terms of the station disciplinary regulation. He must be charged in terms of the SAPS disciplinary regulation. Therefore, this, according to me, says this one is at head office, this one is at the station. Station falls within the provincial, who report to the national code. Then there was nothing wrong for them to be charged simultaneously and invest if head office saw it fit for Pakula to be, for that incident to be done in terms of the expeditious process. Same would have applied to Mohana. That is my view. But even having looked at that, the same disciplinary regulation and interpreted it, it falls under national cause. Nothing wrong, be charged.
So your view is that they ought to have both been charged through head office by virtue of the power to discipline in terms of the relation.
That is correct.
And so when you say, I'm reading between the lines of your answer that what was concerning to you was Zongisi's approach.
Zongisi's approach could not agree. Seated here, I don't even have their findings because their investigation emanated from the docket that I did not see the findings. What was the report or the summary?
And did they call you as a witness? And when you advised the caller that they can come to your office to assist, did they ever?
I remember at some stage making copy to them because they were insisting getting, so I had to make the copy of my own. Also, bear in mind, commissioners, that departmental investigation and criminal investigation should be done separately. So this is the advice that I was giving. You cannot obtain the statement that is in the criminal case and want to use it. You have to be with me because what we want to establish is that whether the members contravene the police record by their own action.
All right, Carl, and we can move.
I'm not sure I get your point. Surely, if there are statements ready, perhaps they don't need to, even if they will then cut the statements in. So I don't see a problem that appear to be.
No, there is no problem with my statement because what they have to do, this statement when it was made for criminal case.
I get this.
Then there is that provision that they must also they must interview me. That is this in line with what happened. Then at the end of that statement, they must confirm that this is because I'll be making a copy.
You seemed to be making an issue of the fact that they asked for the statements that had been.
No, they were,
and that is what I didn't quite follow.
No, they were looking for the statements. That is why I'm saying there are certain statements that are not relevant to them.
All right. Okay. Let's not belabor it.
Thanks.
Colonel, you can move to paragraph 29.
There was a time when me and the analyst on the cell phone were made to do presentation on this case to different heads. It was supposed to end there. It was supposed to end with different provincial heads. I was informed the purpose was to sensitize the provincial head and provincial command about the new trends, referring to the new trends referring to how these drugs came into be or happened to be in the county. In fact, our main presentation was just inform provincial commanders. And there is this new trend, if you are not aware. Now they are using this mode of transport to bring these drugs in. That was the purpose of this. Is
just out of interest. If at this stage this is a new trend, way of before that, what was the norm, the regular? How did that behind?
The reason why I'm stating this
in bulk, that is in bulk, because the drug mule method, I'm sure it doesn't help with bulk import.
In fact, Commissioner, I'm saying when there were difficulties to bring the drugs in, there were some that will enter. They were through the land port of country. They will either be coming through Mozambique, through Abate Bridge. Then because we are now finding this to be now happening, it seems that we have established a new way. Then we have to sensitize members, even those of the CI that were not aware. They were part. They have to be part and get to know these new trends. Thanks.
Colonel, did the presentation include sort of the role of law enforcement, given that in this case in particular, the involvement of law enforcement was rather significant?
Commissioner, this came into being after we have realized that there were times when we had drug hijacking. Then back then, we then realized that was not necessarily meant to take or to steal the drug hijacking that we established then. Our presentation was saying, we remember this year, or on this year, we found this truck being hijacked, but nothing on it. None of the consignment was. Then when we investigate further, we found that there were things that were removed from those trucks, which, according to my own observation and others, because I'm not allowed to say, okay, some of these truck hijacking are not necessarily meant to take the truck. They are just hijacked mainly to remove what they wanted there. Then once they are done, you will find the truck on the road going to where it is supposed to be. Nothing else. That is the trends. That's why we were forced to say, let's do this type of presentation so that on whatever crime that is happening where you find real items not being stolen, then we were checking what was the intention of this. That is the real intention.
I think the question from Ms. Bowe is more that whether the new trend interpretation, did that include the complicity or law enforcement in those?
And Colonel, even in the pseudo hijackings where stuff is removed, did that trend also pick up involvement of law enforcement in that?
Correct.
And then you can then proceed to paragraph 30. No, we're nearly there. Paragraph 30.
During this investigation, I was
Please, Speaker.
Sorry.
I know it's late in the day.
Sorry, Commissioner. During this investigation, I was receiving calls from police officers who volunteered to submit statements, and amongst the callers was Lieutenant-Colonel Nkoana of Toms, who was one of the police officers on the scene, and Warrant Officer Pakula from K9 Pretoria told Maluleke that I understand you were talking to Mashaba over this, so I believe your statement will assist. Then he said, it seems you want to arrest me. Warrant Officer Pakula of K9 Pretoria informed him that because him and the arrested are sharing the same, and further that there is a poison K9 next door, he must have enough reasons other than that of defeating. Then he can submit the statement. All these members submitted their statement to the defense attorneys, and they were used as presentation in the representation requesting for the case to be removed from the courtroom. The investigation was completed and the matter was set down for trial, and Advocate Colin Rian consulted with witnesses, and the information I received was that some of the witnesses are becoming hostile, particularly Jolene Wenzel. As a result of this, the matter was removed from the court and further referred to the DP for decision. That was the last time I had a contact or I interacted with my advocate, because it was sent there, then I left.
Colonel, just
You were kicked upstairs. Don't mind me.
You were promoted.
Yes, I was promoted.
And taken off the case as a result.
Yes, good. No,
We almost.
Colonel, you mentioned that there were other police offered to do these statements, including Madlanga and Haku. Did you attempt to go get the statements from them?
since my interaction with them to say with Maluleke, my understanding, because I informed him, you were at the scene. Now later, you want to make a statement. What direction do you want to take me? Then he said he was saving. Then I said, that morning, you must remember, that morning, Mashaba called you. Before you give me a statement, because it seems you and Mashaba knows, you will have to explain yourself the relationship. You could not come and make. I was confronted with the statement when I see it in the bundle of the Defense Act. With Pakula Commission, I said, yes, I understand you want to make this. What you must make sure, you don't come alone. You come with your commander, you make a statement, your commander room, you make a statement. That indeed is the one that sent you. Because there is certain areas that you need to explain. We have got K9 here in Boysens. What is so special with the K9? And again, don't forget, you and that other Pakula, you are sharing surname. I don't know how to do it. You must be careful. When we make statement, we must not make statement with the intention to derail me from the investigating this. We could not submit the statement. I was confronted with the statement by the...
You are referring to being...
No, that's those statements
from the defense for the second time. Was this in the context of the presentations?
No, they came as a ban commission.
No, I've not. The question is, was this in the context of the reports that were being made? Or
Colonel, you don't think their reluctance ultimately stemmed from what your response was? Don't give me a statement. Sounds like your mind.
No, I don't say don't give me.
No, I didn't.
Come and give me a statement. But you must first bear in mind, you have to address this area. My area, the areas of my concern. I'm the IO. I have to get the clear statement that will say, because I'm saying to you, Pakula, I did not see you at that scene. Now you are telling me over the phone that you were at the scene. What car were you driving? He said a marked police. But I did not see it. Only the marked police vehicle that were identifiable was the one driven by Captain Optoff and the one driven by Ndo and his crew. So when you will be making a statement to me, you must take note of that. And again, don't come alone. Come with your command. You together, I will get somebody to obtain your statement. Then that was.
Suppose my point would be that you have said in testimony that there are things that you missed at the scene, didn't see at the. So it's very possible that you didn't see. I'm wondering why you closed your mind to them giving them that those precursors sound dissuasive. You're saying I didn't see. What were you driving?
You say I didn't see.
As if your mind is closed.
When my mind is closed, I did not.
You are saying to them, I didn't see you at.
Yes.
You're saying to them, what were you driving? Marked car. You say these are the only marked cars I saw. But you yourself are alive to, at least in this, you've said that the things that you missed, people you may have missed. So it's very possible. But in making those precursors, it sounds dissuasive, as if you're closed, your mind is included. You've already decided.
In fact, when I can state that people in uniform are easily identified, more especially when he's saying, I am from K9. My expectation is members of K9, when we get into that, there is no other vehicle that can drive or that is used to transport that police dog other than that marked vehicle. So, yes, if he can come and say, I was not dressed up in uniform, I was not driving a marked vehicle, then possibilities are I might not have seen.
Thank you. Now, in relation to the investigation and matter being set down, you say you received information that some witnesses become hostile, particularly Ms. Wenzel. Do you have a sense of why was that? How could that happen?
Because this matter is now becoming very much concerning to me. I have to do my own checks. Check with the analyst to say, is it maybe something that was missed in that communication chat? Then what came into my mind is that I picked up that at one stage on the 8th of that July, Mashaba called someone who's working in that company. So now my suspicion was, what if that one is my witness? That was just my own assumption, because that was even at the time that I was leaving the docket, could not persuade it further to say, can we further check any communication or scrutinize those communication of Mashaba to say, who is this other person that were communicated with earlier on? Who's working?
Call was Mashaba.
It was on Chief Mashaba's phone.
And then, so when you left the investigation, did you highlight this to the next investigator?
I kept in contact because Colonel was promoted at the same time. He had to come, took over SANEP. Then I had to take over SANEP somewhere. So with him, we did not engage. But I was only contacting the analyst to say, on your spare time, you can check. If you have tracks of any communication between Mashaba and Jolene or somebody there, you must highlight it. But
and do you know if this was ever done?
I cannot confirm, but because what I was informed, the latest development are at least directing the docket somewhere.
Or perhaps you don't want to say because the subject.
Yeah, because now it's the subject of investigation, but it seems there is direction.
Then we're done with the statement, but there's a few more things I want. The first is if we can
take a short, Sir Jen.